What is up, everybody? J Nell here with another From Me to You, and I want to talk about what everyone is talking about right now, and that is the Nevada State Athletic Commission handing down a 5-year suspension along with $163,000 in fines to fighter Nick Diaz for testing positive for marijuana. Yeah. Let's get into it. So I did a little research, and WADA, the World Anti-Doping Association, they basically set the standards. Everybody else follows them pretty much. They raised their threshold for marijuana, I believe, in 2007. They raised it from 15 nanograms per milliliter to 150 nanograms per milliliter. Basically, you can look up their reasoning. They're getting with the times. Now other countries are changing their stance on the drug. Mind you, they handled the Olympics. That's why they're the standard setter there. So even though WADA is at 150, each state sets their own limitations. Now, Nevada's limitations was 50 nanograms per milliliter. Nick Diaz's first infraction, because this is his third, okay, his first infraction in 2008, he came in at 175 nanograms per milliliter, so that's just over the threshold, infraction number 1. His second violation came in 2013. He came in at 143. Again, Nevada was at 50, so this is infraction number 2. However, Nevada in the very same year changed their policy to match WADA, and they changed it to 150, which means Nick Diaz's second infraction at 143 should no longer be an infraction, should no longer be a violation. Just like Colorado had to go back and let a bunch of people out of jail for marijuana possession once they legalized it recreationally, something has got to be done about the record books when Nevada changed the rules. So in my eye, I see one infraction at this point. The third infraction, so-called infraction, comes in, or so-called third infraction, comes in after this recent fight against Anderson Silva, where they test you 8 hours before the fight, 8 hours after the fight. This was the test 8 hours after the fight, and he came in at 300 nanograms per milliliter, which means this man went from the fight to the locker room and one of his homies handed him a blunt. Right there in the locker room, because you just got out of a fight. You probably wanted to smoke. For him to come in that high. So really, in my opinion, he has 2 full-on infractions. Just to give you a little glimpse on the commission's understanding of marijuana, or lack thereof. In the first infraction, coming in at 175, this means that he used marijuana a couple days prior to the fight. And it's on the record, said that him using marijuana a couple days prior was a way for him to numb himself for the fight, giving him an advantage. Because smoking a couple days prior, I'm not even gonna get into that. That just lets you know that they are low information voters. They don't have all the information when it comes to marijuana, when it comes to all the drugs, the uses, the medical uses. They clearly aren't that informed. And they shouldn't be handing down punishment and setting rules if they're not that informed. This is a problem. Also, part of the reason why WADA changed their stance is because of the false positives. There are a lot of issues concerning the marijuana THC metabolite testing. One of the biggest issues is weight cutting. Weight cutting apparently severely affects how you test for the marijuana THC metabolites. This is also the reason why they raised the threshold. So, Nevada, you get your research on like I did. Part of the problem is that marijuana is a Schedule I drug, meaning that there's no medical uses for it. This needs to change. Even the FDA came out and said that it has cancerous tumor reducing qualities. We know it has pain fighting qualities. Nick Diaz, by the way, a citizen of California, has a medical card and was smoking it legally. That's the other thing here, okay? Them handing down, I said, again, 5 years. You can watch the court proceedings now. You could watch this. You could watch the Anderson Silva. I'm like, what is this, a reality show? You got phones going off. You got the commissioners and the people cracking jokes, giving Nick Diaz a verbal tongue lashing, talking about you promised this, 3 strikes and you're out. There were some egos involved here, people. Egos involved. Because this makes no sense, especially since, like I said, later on this year, they're going to implement a 3 strikes and 3-year suspension for marijuana. That's what they're going to do this year. So even by the new standards, they went above and beyond with this 5-year suspension. It makes no sense. Anderson Silva also tested positive for performance-enhancing drugs on the same fight. The first excuse was okay. You know, he broke his leg. This is his first time popping for steroids, or for a chemical found in steroids. So this is probably why they went more lenient, or more lenient with him. But it was a performance-enhancing drug. First, he said it was due to him trying to heal his leg. He should have stuck with that. Then he had the nerve to say he took some sort of Viagra-like sex enhancement drug days before the fight. Ridiculousness. And Anderson got a 1-year suspension for testing positive for a performance-enhancing drug, or a chemical found in a performance-enhancing drug. So this does not make sense. There are egos involved here. The laws need to be updated. Nevada, you need to get your research on. The government needs to lower this from a Schedule I drug. There are fighters coming out saying that they shouldn't even be tested for marijuana in the first place, because it is not a performance-enhancing drug and can cause no harm to their opponents. Caffeine is a more performance-enhancing drug than marijuana, something that keeps you awake and alert in a fight. You can use that, but marijuana? There are NFL fighters, NBA players, hockey players lobbying to get NFL off the banned substance list because they use it for their pain. Not everyone is lying and using it just to smoke it recreationally. Yes, there are folks that are, but there are a lot of athletes that actually use marijuana for pain reasons, because not everybody wants to pop a pill. Not everybody wants to take a Vicodin or get a prescription. After heroin addiction, you know what number 2 is? Prescription pill addiction. Not marijuana. So not everybody wants to pop a pill. This needs to change. Nevada, the government, United States, WADA, everyone needs to look at their stance on marijuana. We need to do the research and come up with the proper stances, the proper limitations, and the proper punishments, because this ain't it. Follow me on Facebook at Janelle Owens. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter, where I have exclusive 15-second prescriptions, predictions, and recaps. Please let me know how you feel about this subject. Subscribe to me. Please like the video. Talk to me. Take care. And goodbye.